What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to come on here and say welcome to another episode of VlogTalks. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a lot of my little vocal tricks and stuff like that to be able to get prepared for a show. So I intentionally waited until Friday to film a little bit of footage and kind of content and everything because I wanted to be able to be as realistic as possible with my preparation in this video. I wanted to kind of show the exact things that I actually do before the day before a show. I actually wanted to get started on being able to actually do more content and stuff like that regarding, you know, vocal prep and stuff like that and all this kind of thing in terms of getting prepared before a show. So right off the bat, number one, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Make sure you are drinking so much water. I can't even stress enough how important it is to drink water. I mean, even if you're not a singer, you need to drink more water in general. Like, that's what my mom used to tell me since I was a kid. She was like, you need to drink more water. I'm like, I just drank 2 liters. She's like, that's it? So, point is, drink water, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Obviously, there's a point where you're drinking too much water. Be logical, okay? Don't be, you know, don't be silly. Yeah, just stay hydrated. Hydration is number one. Number two, make sure that you guys are always, and I mean always, getting as much sleep as you possibly can. I remember I said this in the last episode, but I gotta stress this again. Sleep as much as you can, right? So for example, you shouldn't be sleeping, you know, too much. So for me personally, my sleep is, I don't go over 8 hours of sleep and I never go under 7 hours of sleep. Number three, okay? So number three is anything with dairy is going to mess you up when you're singing. It's going to give you more phlegm and it's going to make it a lot more difficult. Now, this also goes for people that are public speaking. If you're a public speaker, if you're a voice actor, if you're a singer, if you are doing anything that requires your voice. Did you see that? Wow. But anything that you're doing that requires your voice is going to require certain sacrifices, because in order for you to actually have a pristine sound and in order for you to have a clean production of sound, okay? I'm going to emphasize that again. In order for you to have a clean production of sound, and the reason I'm emphasizing that is because there's a lot of people that are going to tell me, I can smoke, I can drink, I can eat whatever I want, and I can still sing. Yes, 100% you can. Are you going to feel comfortable while you're doing it? Are you going to feel comfortable when you're doing it? No, you're not. Are you going to feel some discomfort that could lead to potential pain or vocal injury, short-term or long-term? Absolutely. Are you going to, you know, feel like not just good overall as a person, right? Just not being healthy in general? No, you're not going to feel good at all, right? So these are things that I emphasize because when I say a clean production of sound, it means that following this particular vocal diet is going to help you achieve the best results in terms of being able to produce a clean sound with your voice, right? And that goes for whether you're singing, you know, rock, if you're doing hip hop, if you're doing R&B, if you're doing soul, and if you're somebody who has a little bit of a rasp in your voice and everything, that's great. But it's better for you to have a natural rasp than an unfortunately induced rasp. I haven't done my lip trill warm-ups yet or anything like that. I'm saving that because I wanted to do it for you guys. That's why my speech is all like... Anyways, so that's a very important thing. Right? So making sure that you actually follow like a bit of a regimen in terms of, you know, how you actually care for your voice with your food, right? So one thing I love to do is I stay away from dairy and stuff like that and all these kind of things, right? And I'm like, you know, I want to make sure that I have as much like water in my diet. I want to make sure that I'm staying away from extremely oily foods, fried foods and stuff like that. So if you're somebody who likes to go and have fried chicken, if you like to have fries, if you're a deep fried Mars bar fan, oh my gosh. But any of those ones at all are going to affect you, right? They're 100% going to affect you. So desserts and stuff like that, stay away from them because they're going to be a lot of times high in dairy. I love red velvet cheesecake. And that's like everything that I shouldn't be having, right? So I'm disciplined, right? And the reason is because if you want to do the best, you're going to have to sacrifice a bit for it, right? And that's okay because then you can celebrate afterwards and you can eat whatever you want afterwards. So aside from that, high in sugar. So things are high in sugar. So for example, if you're somebody who likes to have M&Ms, Smarties, chocolates, candies, all of that's going to give you that very, phlegmy feel in the back. So what is really great is the fact that like there is ways to actually eat around all of this, right? So for example, for my vegetarians and for my vegans, you can have tons and tons of salads. Just be careful with your dressings, right? So if you're somebody who likes balsamic vinaigrette and stuff like that, be careful with some of those dressings because some of them can be a little bit acidic, right? A little bit strong in acidity, which can affect your throat. If you're doing it, the day or two before, you should be okay. If you're doing it right before you sing, I highly discourage that because anything with acidity, spices, dairy, high amounts of sugar, high amounts of fat, fried, extremely oily. I know it's pretty bad. Those kind of things are actually going to affect your voice. So you got to try and stay away from that stuff. You guys already know I've told you about, alcohol and smoking or anything like that. Vaping as well. All of those things are going to affect your voice to some extent, right? I'm somebody who likes to be 100% clean across the entire board to make sure that I am 100% prepared, right? I never like to go there 99% prepared. The same way that you would never go to a job interview wearing only your pants, right? I'm not going to go to a job interview just wearing my pants. I'm going to go there in a full suit looking good, right? Which means that if I'm going to go and perform, I'm not going to just show up with 10%, 50% of my voice. I'm going to show up with 100% of my voice. I'm going to give you everything, right? That was a weird analogy. It was the first thing that came to my head. So it's what it is. And you know what it is, right? That's what it is. One of the things that I love to do is I love to have tea. Like I'm a huge tea drinker. I'm a huge coffee drinker and stuff like that. But at the same time, coffee and tea. So this is a topic of discussion that I've had with a lot of people, vocalists, vocal coaches and stuff like that, and even my past professors. I know it depends on each person. Some people can't have caffeine, like they'll drink coffee and then they're just like, they're shot, like they can't actually sing after that, right? I can drink coffee and I can sing, right? Do I do it all the time? No, because I also know that coffee and tea do dehydrate you a little bit, right? That's why you become the little man running to the washroom really fast, because you have to go to the washroom, right? So tea and coffee are something that does dehydrate you a bit, and then you have to rehydrate afterwards. So that's why it's like I'll use tea to kind of relax me and everything, to kind of like soothe my throat or anything like that if it's a cold day outside or anything like that. But then my priority is always water, right? Now, on the day of a show, I do not usually eat that very much before, even though I should, for energy purposes. But for some reason, I just can't eat on the day of a show. I'm just so focused on everything that's happening that I forget to eat, right? So I keep myself accountable by making sure that I feed everybody else in my band, in my team, or anything like that. I tell them, I was like, okay, guys, let's make sure you guys eat. And if I make sure that they eat, I remembered, I'm like, okay, I gotta get something for myself too, right? So that's another thing, right? Is making sure that you eat. A lot of little things that you gotta kind of like take into account and stuff like that. Like being a singer, being a vocalist is not like just easy walk in the park. Like there's a lot of components to it, right? That you gotta practice. You gotta make sure that you're taking care of your voice. You're gonna make sure that if you're going out the night before your show, if you're going out the 2 nights before your show. Last night I went to a friend of mine's fellow artist and a colleague as well. His show was at Lula Lounge. His name is Cruz, and he did a really, really cool show and everything. And purposefully, I didn't go into the big crowd where all the people were because I didn't want to have to be yelling. I didn't want to have to be, exerting my voice too much. I showed up, wanted to give him support and everything, and I wanted to be there and, show some love, show some support to fellow artists. Support fellow artists, right? That's a huge thing, right? But doesn't mean that I have to go and scream my head off, right? Like I'm there whistling, I'm there putting my hands up in the air, clapping and stuff like that. Like I'm in a gospel church. Gospel music is played in church. Wow. But like all these things, right? It's like I make sure that I'm, doing my due diligence in preserving my voice, right? Otherwise, I would wake up this morning and have absolutely no voice. Obviously, is my voice a little bit tired? For sure, right? Because, I was talking to people. I was doing a lot of talking. But I'm also mindful of it, right? So you got to be mindful in terms of like, it's not like lock yourself at home, don't go anywhere, don't eat anything, and roll over and die until the show starts. Like, that's just not living, right? You also got to be realistic with yourself and be like, okay, I want to go out, I want to eat, but you just got to be selective. Be selective, be intelligent with your decisions, be logical, right? Be logical. I feel like everybody needs to do that. But yeah, so those are things you got to do. So if you're going out like before your show and stuff like that, just make sure that you are actually being mindful of what you're doing, right? So if you're going to talk to a lot of people and stuff like that, you know what I do? I honestly, like, I pretend that I'm actually talking at live events, right? Just to not use my voice at all. Like, sometimes I won't even use my voice the entire night, but people won't hear it. I'll see them, I'll be like, and then I'll hug them and everything, and they're like, man, you know, Xavier's the realist, and I was just like, right? And I'll do all that kind of stuff. They have no idea, right? They can't hear you the same way that you can't hear them, right? You got to be yelling. So that's why I was like, I just, you know, mouth a lot of stuff. I'm like, right? And I do stuff like that in a really loud room, and they're like, hey, I'm good, how are you? And I'm like, you know, and the whole thing is like, I preserve my voice that way, right? And I'm still being respectful, I'm still acknowledging everybody and stuff like that, but it's something you do got to get used to if you want to preserve your voice and you want to be ready, right? Especially this weekend, I have back-to-back performances. Saturday, I have my show, which is tomorrow. I have my show where I'm doing pretty much my entire album and everything, live concert and everything. And once I do that show, I gotta get sleep, rest the entire day, warm up and everything, and start running through all the music and stuff like that for Sunday evening, because I was invited to do a banquet. It was a performance for a banquet for like an organization called Freedom Village. So people who come from, you know, who don't have a home, or people who come from like a very like a difficult life. They come from a difficult place and everything, and they've had struggles, or, you know, they're suffering, you know, whether it's at home due to abuse, substances, and all this kind of things. Freedom Village, what they do is they actually bring in people. They give them, you know, places to stay. They give them counseling for the families, for the children, for everybody and stuff like that. So they're actually doing a fundraiser event, and they invited me to sing. They asked me, they're like, do you think you can come and sing? And I was like, it's a good cause. Why not, right? Why not? Yeah, I'm going to be wiped out, because then like my schedule just keeps going after that. But sometimes you just have to do something out of the goodness of your heart. Like I said, for keeping up with these 2 shows coming up, like I have to make sure that I am well rested. I have to make sure that I am, you know, taking it easy. I'm gonna show you guys some footage actually of the show we did that I went to last night at Lulu Lounge. Really cool, really cool place, and it's so nice. It's actually my first time that I've seen Lulu Lounge like in person. I've always seen like footage or photos and stuff like that, but it's so beautiful. I really liked it, and it was a fun experience, right? You know, they pulled off like a really great show, and yeah, I'll show you guys some footage of that and stuff like that. Honestly, guys, take care of yourselves. So I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'm gonna keep it pushing, and we're gonna have a really fun time. So, like I said, stay tuned. This next episode is gonna be super jam-packed, and then while I'm in California, I'm gonna be filming a whole bunch. Would you guys prefer if I dropped like a bunch of small videos in California, or would you guys prefer if I dropped one large, like long video of California, right? And maybe I should just do like just a California episode, or just a bunch of them, like every couple of days type of thing. Let me know, because like I want to make sure that I'm catering to however much content you guys want to take in. So let me know in the comments below, and thanks for joining me on VlogTalks, and love you guys. God bless. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And every time I drop an episode, I want you guys to get notified. So hit that little bell button. It goes ding, you know, when you hit it. And that one right there is going to let you know of everything that's on the way with me and XDS. So take care, guys. I will talk to you guys soon.